So October is now over in the garden, and lots of things in the garden have sort of come to the end of their season. So it's time to start hacking some of the grasses back and some of the plants like the echinacea. Um, so I've had a good old go at the garden today. I've started cut back some of the herbs and things. The lavender was done a few weeks ago, a couple of months ago. But as I say, the echinacea was time to go. Some of the late chives have been cut back. After I cut back some of the other plants, I noticed there's something slightly alien growing in the front garden. It's three quite big mushrooms found their way in. Not seen any in the front garden before, so I've just pulled them up. I'm sure they'll probably come back next year, but there's not a lot you can do about that really, I don't think. Something else strange in the garden, the strawberries are still trying to grow. I don't think any of them are going to turn red now, it's this sort of cold and dark, but they're still producing flowers and fruit, and quite big fruit as well. Some of them, like this one, have got a little bit of red on, but I don't think we'll be eating any of them. So in the back garden, the trees have decided in the last 2 weeks to completely drop all the leaves. So the back garden is completely covered in leaves. So I've spent quite a long time raking them all up, and I've actually run out of space in the bins and the compost heap to store them. So I've had to stop. So I'm sure there'll be a few more weeks of raking ahead. There's still some leaves left at the top. Something else that has now come to the end, the courgettes or zucchinis and the squash that was growing at the back of the garden. They've now really finally gone over. The plants have all sort of fallen down, and there's just one last courgette left on the plant that probably hasn't grown for a few weeks now. So I've cut those off and taken those in the house to eat. And the plants I've pulled up and I've put them in the recycling. They took up a big gap at the back of the garden, so I have to move all the pots around and see if we can put something there through the winter, make that corner look nice. This is definitely the best year I've had for courgettes. The biggest I've ever grown the plants. It's definitely worth growing the plants in the ground rather than in the pots. The ones in the pots only really grew a couple of courgettes, whereas the ones in the floor we had quite a number of them. I can't remember how many there were, but definitely a really good corner. Must be really good sunlight or something in that corner. So I'll definitely grow them there again. There's still plenty more tidying up to do in the garden. These grasses at the back of the garden, there's two at the back garden, two in the front garden. I'm going to need to cut all those down and take that to the dump. And my leeks are still growing really strong. They're looking really good. I've got them in about 4 different pots, so hopefully some of those will be ready for sort of Christmas time or early next year.